Alright guys, my name is Frank. I'm a carpenter here in San Diego, California. This is going to be my first YouTube video. I have done several Instagram videos, so a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you right now is on Instagram, but what I'm going to mainly show you is not. So tool storage is something that I always try to modify and upgrade to be mobile as possible. I do finish carpentry, I do cabinets for a living, so I try to be as mobile as possible. I was a big fan of the Festool system. I got into the Festool system in 2009, and it's a great system, but it's expensive. And wanting to get into a more flexible system that had drawers and different things, the Festool system is very expensive. So this is a drawer unit from Festool. I have Kaizen foam in it. It is, I think this drawer box, which is these 3 drawers, is $160. I could be wrong on that, but it's very expensive. The one below it's another, it's very expensive. What I'm getting at, it's a very expensive system. And they're not the most durable system. You know, they have very good locks, they're very nice, but I wanted something a little bit tougher. So I went to the pack out system over here. And on the pack out system, it's very nice. It's super strong, but they haven't came out with a drawer, which I'm really trying to put my stuff in drawers. I did make my own drawer. For those that haven't seen it, it all locks together. You can check that out on Instagram if you guys haven't seen it. I'm still going to stay with this system for bigger tools, but what I inevitably settled on was this. This is the DeWalt Tstak system and Craftsman Versastak system. They are identical. The Craftsman Versastak and Tstak, they're both owned by DeWalt. They lock together. Matter of fact, the Craftsman is actually better because it has metal pins, and the DeWalt hasn't upgraded theirs yet. It still has the plastic pins, but they all lock together. That's a Craftsman box. You can see it's all locked together. I've slowly but surely upgraded the boxes and done several things. Take a look here. My jigsaw and planer are in here. Flexvolt router are in here. Impact hammer drill. Drill bits. You can see here's one of the cases I did. Caulking tubes. Holds everything. Long story short, I've been working on the system for a while. Then I thought, since I'm on so many different tool platforms, I came out with this. This is on Instagram too, for those that want to see it. You can plug it in. Bought a shore plug off of Amazon, and that allows me to plug in the box and have all my battery chargers, charged batteries, fan cooled, everything. So this is on Instagram for those that want to see it. Then I decided I wanted to get the Tstak vacuum. And I did a bunch of build videos. They're not going to be that great of quality because I'm shooting off my cell phone, but that vacuum is really cool. The problem is it has a small dust collection tray on the bottom, so it fills up pretty quick. So I made this that we call the separator. And you can see how it works. Basically, the vacuum pulls into here, and then all your main chips get caught into this vacuum. I did 0 modifications to the DeWalt vacuum. It's still the same old Tstak vacuum as you buy it. That way I don't want to change anything from the vacuum just in case I want to use it this way. This is the change. This is what I do. There you guys can see here. So when the vacuum charges this, all the dust gets pulled into this instead of into the vacuum. And I'll show you guys how it works right now. Craftsman Versastak and Tstak, they're both owned by DeWalt. They lock together. Matter of fact, the Craftsman is actually better because it has metal pins, and the DeWalt hasn't upgraded theirs yet. It still has the plastic pins, but they all lock together. That's a Craftsman box. You can see it's all locked together. I've slowly but surely upgraded the boxes and done several things. You take a look here. My jigsaw and planer are in here. Flexvolt router are in here. Impact hammer drill. Drill bits. You can see here's one of the cases I did. Caulking tubes. Holds everything. Long story short, I've been working on the system for a while. Then I thought, since I'm on so many different tool platforms, I came out with this. This is on Instagram too, for those that want to see it. You can plug it in. Bought a shore plug off of Amazon, and that allows me to plug in the box and have all my battery chargers, charged batteries, fan cooled, everything. So this is on Instagram for those that want to see it. Then I decided I wanted to get the Tstak vacuum. And I did a bunch of build videos. They're not going to be that great of quality because I'm shooting off my cell phone, but that vacuum is really cool. The problem is it has a small dust collection tray on the bottom, so it fills up pretty quick. So I made this that we call the separator. And you can see how it works. Basically, the vacuum pulls into here, and then all your main chips get caught into this vacuum. I did 0 modifications to the DeWalt vacuum. It's still the same old Tstak vacuum as you buy it. That way, I don't want to change anything from the vacuum just in case I want to use it this way. This is the change. This is what I do. So when the vacuum charges this, all the dust gets pulled into this instead of into the vacuum. And I'll show you guys how it works right now. Okay, so those that are not familiar with this vacuum, this is the Tstak Flexvolt vacuum from DeWalt. Okay, it runs off their Flexvolt system, 60 volt. It's a regular vacuum, or it's remote activated. Now, it's a great vacuum. I just got this. I think it's awesome. I don't like the hose end on the DeWalt vacuums just because they're very big. Nothing wrong with it. It's just a big connector. And you can see here, there's not a lot of room in here, especially with these 2 filters at the bottom. You can see it fills up pretty quick. I think it's 2 gallons, but don't quote me on that. So my thought was, how can I make the best of both worlds? I did not want to modify this vacuum in any way. So the hose is the same, everything is the same. But by making this, locks onto the top of the vacuum. I take the DeWalt connector. I ordered this part off of Amazon and connecting it. Now this will fill up with all the debris instead of the vacuum itself. So here now I have a 16-foot long hose. That we can connect in and pull. And as I'm picking up the mess, instead of filling up the vacuum, it's filling this up. And so when I got to clean up at the end of the day, I don't have to open up the vacuum. Everything ends up going in here. I've lost, I don't even know if I don't have a way of checking it, but it doesn't feel like I've lost any suctions. I'm sure I've lost some, but it's working really well. You guys can see, come over here, let's show them the close up on the that's the self-cleaning filter, as you guys can hear, but everything works as it should. And at the end of the day, like I said, when I want to go empty this, instead of having to empty out the vacuum, I can just disconnect the DeWalt vacuum, pop this off, and everything's in this box. So anyways, there you go. After this, I'll show the build videos I've already done. Like I said, they're not the best quality, guys, but I tried my best for my first video to show you how to do it. You don't have to copy this system. If you have a rigid shop vac and you want to go into a rigid box, it'll work the same. The build process is the same. This is just what I did on this one to be cordless. And there you go.
Again, guys, the video sound is not the best, so here I'm just letting you know that I chose the Versastak box over the DeWalt box due to the weather seal gasket and the metal locking pins. But you can use either box to do this.
DeWalt box too, though. So first step first, I went to Rockler, picked this up. I had a different design in mind, but when I went there, this product from Rockler from Dust Right, it's pretty cool because it already has a mounting bracket built to it, one rubber boot, and a 90-degree elbow. The And then I'm gonna use my hole saw, 2 1/4 hole saw. And I want the hose to stay wrapped on the DeWalt, because the point here is to make sure that I don't have to shorten this hose, and I can just disconnect it from the vacuum and plug it right into this box. So if I want to use it with the vacuum hose, I don't have to do any kind of swapping. I can just unplug it and use the vacuum. Or if I want to use it with the 16-foot Bosch hose, I can just plug it into this box and it's good to go. So I'm trying to document this as good as possible. That way, if I get 1,000 questions, or no questions, but if I do get 1,000 questions, at least I have, the answers should be in all the videos. So let me get started. Okay, I'm starting just did a pilot hole from the inside here. It cuts through the plastic really quick, but I wanted it to be between these 2 ribs on the box, and I'm gonna add 1/2-inch plywood there, so there's some structural rigidness. I'm probably even gonna run 1 cross brace, so that way the vacuum pressure doesn't pull the box. So these boxes are very thin, so I wanna make sure that it stays stable under vacuum pressure. But now I can come to the back side and drill through. All right, now you guys can kind of see what the purpose here, or the way it's working. So it's a real tight fit. I haven't screwed anything in yet. And I'm gonna run hot melt adhesive around this, or RTV silicone or something, just to make sure it's airtight. And then you're gonna get kind of the idea of what I'm doing here. So the back side, I'm gonna add wood here and here. That will support the bracket. And I'm gonna have a wood ring around this for support. And there's going to be a cross member that's going to go here.
It ended up not needing the cross support. The vacuum pressure wasn't enough to cause an issue with the box.
So let's get that started. All right, guys, I'm a big fan of Baltic birch plywood for several reasons. It's light, it's strong, it paints good. There's just so many advantages with it. It's got a solid core because of the built-up ply. I like to round over all my edges. I'm gonna go do that right now, just so I don't get splinters and stuff, and especially since this is gonna be an internal part, kind of keep stuff from clinging to it. I am gonna paint it for looks, but to get you the idea of what I'm doing here, you can see that I wanted to use 3/8, but I'm all out. I thought I had 3/8 Baltic birch here, but I can't find it. So we're using 1/2 inch. But the 3/8 would have been a little bit better, but anybody that wants to do this, most of my stuff is made out of 3/8. It's not made out of 1/2 inch. So I would swap that out just for weight. Not that this is going to add any significant weight, but the lighter the better, nonetheless. So I'm going to come over here on my little workstation. And I got my little round over bit set up. We'll use all these edges and we'll start putting it together. So from the inside of the box, I did my grid layout, so I have even screws from the outside. You can see the piece all rounded over. I got to sand it. That's going to fit in there. Come back here and I'm going to screw it with some washer head type screws, so that way that can mount to that. Truss head type screws. So there you go. I'm just using 1/2 inch screws, thick Baltic birch. So I was talking to Grammer now. He's my guy here in the shop, and he thinks I should put the inlet for the vacuum hose on the side, and I kind of agree with him. Doesn't hang off the front, and it's a 16-foot hose I'm going to run. So on the side here, it's very hard to see in this box, but you'll see there's some ridges in here, and I cut this piece of plywood, ease the edges just like that one, and I ran a kerf around it, so that way when this thing slides in, it locks onto those real tight. That thing can't come out, and that's my mounting point for here. So I'm going to drill through this right now, the same bit that I did here, and then this mount, these holes will mount to that. Let's see what happens. Okay, that worked out good. And like I said, guys, I'm not trying to do any cheesy stuff here. I just want to show you guys exactly what I'm doing. So if anybody wants to, you don't have to use, if this works, and this is a big if this works, you don't have to do it with this vacuum. It can be with any vacuum. But I just like having a dust separator that you can still stack stuff on top of. That's what I like. So one more thing before I screw this in, guys. I wanted to point out I've done quite a few vacuum systems in my life. 90-degree corners are a bad thing. I did it there just because we were lazy that day. But typically you want to have sweeps wherever you can. You can see that's all plumbed in. take your time, sand these edges, round them over, do whatever you can to stop airflow restriction. Because you'll be surprised, the littlest thing will give you a hang up. So I took this out right now, took it over to my oscillating spindle sander, hit it so it looks clean, rounded over the edges, like I said, so that way this piece doesn't hamper any of the performance. So we put it in. Nice and clean. Nice and clean. I haven't done any kind of silicone or anything around the edges yet, but box shuts it. What do you think, Graham? We need the Graham approval, guys.
Sucks like a Hoover.
Sucks like a Hoover, guys.
It's a Hoover.
That's why I wanted the Bosch vacuum hose too. Not only is it longer, but these pop off and they fit all the Bosch tools. So now, when you're planing, deep cut, drop nothing. Look at the length of that hose. Show them the hose, Graham.
It's a big one.
All right, guys.
Proofs in the pudding. Oh yeah.
Would you look at that?
I would say it's working.
And when you don't want it, I still gotta paint it and whatnot. Make it look real factory. But when you don't want it, the Bosch hose the DeWalt hose connection comes off. Zero modifications to the Flexvolt vacuum. It's exactly how you get it from the factory. And that's what I wanted. Because I don't know if in the future I buy more DeWalt tools. I didn't want to shorten their hose. I didn't want to do anything to change that vacuum. So the whole thing that makes this system, I think, kind of cool is it's a toolbox. And for storage, you can disconnect this hose. The Bosch hose is real flexible. And I'll show you guys. After you empty it out, you can roll it up, stick it right in this toolbox. Awesome. Show the back. And that clears the cart. So if you have the DeWalt cart or the rolling toolbox or whatever you want to use, add the rolling toolbox to it, it'll clear everything. So I think this is going to be my first YouTube video, guys. It's shot off a cell phone. I don't know if it's going to be that impressive as far as video quality goes, but nonetheless, let me know what you guys think. And another thing about the Bosch hose is it's super flexible. So for storage, all right, guys, it works great. I'm just gonna come by. This thing is in there tight, but just to make sure that I don't have any air seepage, I'm gonna go around with a hot melt and hit all the penetrations from the inside. Sounds great. And then paint the backside blue bracket just so it looks a little bit more factory, and I'm an idiot to do that, but whatever. And again, guys, this worked great. One of the big things with the dust separators is they work fantastic. Like I said, I have them here in the shop. I have one at my house. But you know, they have the big, like the Oneidas and whatnot, they have a big tunnel thing that sits on top and it won't allow you to stack anything. So I like this because it looks like a toolbox. You can mount it below or above the vacuum, and you can stack all the other toolboxes on top. All right, guys, here it is. The separator. So for those that don't, this is my first YouTube video. I've been on Instagram for like a year and 3 months, I think. That's Graham. my first, not my first, I've done many projects, but one of the other Versastak or DeWalt Tstak things I've done was this box here. And if you want to get the details on this box, you're gonna have to check out my Instagram page. But got a short plug, fan cooled battery charger. So check out my Instagram page if you guys want to see the details on that. I figured I would do a little bit more details on how I did this project for my first YouTube video. So there you go. No modifications to the DeWalt vacuum. Like I said, you just unplug the DeWalt vacuum. I painted that now. So you just unplug this. And I ordered this part off of Amazon. And once you unplug that, it is just back to a regular old Tstak vacuum. That back down there. Now, all right, guys, I don't know if I showed, sorry, like I said, this is my first YouTube video, so bear with me. So take a look in here. You getting that? It pulls up chips, no problem. Let's go over here. Fucking perfect. There you go. It works. One thing too, I know I keep going back and forth, guys. My first YouTube video, so I keep forgetting to say certain things or whatever, but bear with me. One thing I don't like about the DeWalt ends, this is the factory DeWalt end from the Flexvolt vacuum. You can see how big it is. It's huge, you know, compared to a standard 35 millimeter 1.25" hose. So it's a good system, I think, if you have nothing but DeWalt tools, but I got a variety of tools. So the other thing, nobody makes Festool's 35 millimeter. I think Makita's like 34 because they just don't fit together. Bosch sells this little adapter here. It's $5 on Amazon. It fits their hose, and then their hose will fit anybody's tool bit pretty much. So now,
yes, it was very foolish to not clamp down this board, and I plunged pretty deep with the router bit, but I was nervous while shooting all of these videos because I knew this was going to be my first YouTube video.
nothing. Not even a drop. So completely obviously you still have a vacuum hose. Until we find out technology to beam dust to a vacuum, we're stuck with that. But now you have a completely cordless setup with all the dust going in here. Me and Graham been doing all kinds of stuff in the shop, and it's all getting collected in here. Show them the back of it real quick. The lighting over there is bad, so like I said. Awesome, guys. There it is. It's good. The separator could actually be mounted at the top of a stack. If you wanted to put the vacuum at the bottom of your stack, put drawer units in between it, and then put the separator at the top or the bottom, you can do that as well. So it doesn't have to be on top of each other. Still works the same, which is kind of cool. So I'll probably set it up real quick with drawers just to show you guys. Grab these, and we can show the separator differences. hard it is. Take this hose. We're ready to rock. So that's the cool thing too, guys. The separator doesn't even have to be next to the vacuum on this thing. You know what's funny, since we're doing a YouTube video, we don't have to do minute-long videos like we do on Instagram. We should have just probably stayed recording the whole time.